Welcome back to the KB Money Show, Season 2, Episode 3. Hey, we in 2025. How you doing, man? I got my awesome host, Keon, the Ivy League scholar, and of course, it's your boy KB. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling awesome. I'm feeling blessed to be here, blessed to make it to episode 3, blessed to make it to season 2. Man, I'm excited to see what's gonna come this episode. It seems like it's just been a bunch of very eventful weeks the past couple weeks. So it definitely hasn't been short on content ideas. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, as I was prepping for the show, I was like, man, which direction do I want to go in? But we gonna take it one step at a time. You know how I do. I'm known for making pivots, so we'll see how it goes. And there's a lot that's gonna be in store for y'all. And by the way, this episode is sponsored by Level Careers. So if you're looking to level up in your career, break into tech on the sales side, or if you're more technical, cybersecurity, engineering, check out Level Careers, use the coupon code KEN and get that 10% discount. And you'll be one step closer. And by the way, I know the CEO over there, and those individuals are practitioners. So this that they talk the talk, walk the walk. So if that's something that you're interested in, check the link below, click the link, go through it, take a look at it. If you're interested, sign up for a course, and you'll be on your way. All right, back to what we're talking about. So first we got to open up and talk about just how your week was. We're going to give the folks an update in terms of the financial goals because this is the KB Money Show. And if this is your first time listening, one of my goals is to pay off my mortgage this year. And Keon is saving up his emergency fund. So we're going to provide what the updates there. So first, let's start off there. Where are you with your goal? You said, was it 25,000 you said?
I think I brought it back down to 15. I think I originally said 25, came
Oh,
back
oh, so
down
we
to
didn't
15.
call the audible on the goals.
I had to pivot.
Dang, okay.
I learned from you. I had to pivot, man. But I do have an update. So I mean drum roll. I have hit the 5 digit mark. And for those of you that's like one, two, that I hit 10,000. And man, I gotta say, I know that mathematically it's only 100 pennies more than $9,999. But something in your mind just clicks when you see that extra digit gets added on the screen. I don't know if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When you see that comma move, it's like it's gratifying, even though it's not real. I'm not holding it, but it still felt like I felt something, and it felt gratifying, just to plan it out. But again, the progress, got to keep it going, got to keep the momentum going, and steadily going to 15. Looking to go to 15 grand, and I know I got some expenses coming up, so got to run even harder. You know what I'm saying? Life doesn't slow down, so you got to catch up with it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So, all right. So we made an adjustment. So now we're going to 15. All right, progress. We'll take it. Cool. So for me, I am at 59,000. So it's trending down. I made a couple payments. And so we on track. I'm feeling good about it. And we're gonna crush it. And I got some other things I'm working on, work, and then some other things I'm working on outside of work as well, which is gonna contribute to significantly crushing it. And so I'm feeling good, still on track for December, having that done. I suspect it'll be much sooner than that, but that's the target. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna bring the target a lot closer, but still on track for December.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So before we get into the topics, how was your week? Now we got the updates out of the way, the financial updates, because this, like I said, this is the KB Money Show.
For sure. I think my week went really well. I just I had some opportunities for growth, opportunities for coaching, constructive I don't say constructive criticism, I call it constructive coaching at work. And
Mm,
just something that I took away from it. And me and my coworkers talked with each other, and the main takeaway was, man, we're just lucky to have a manager that cares,
mm,
because I mean, I'm sure you've been working longer than I have. You've come through various situations, but even just my short time of working in the companies I've been at, I've come to know that the manager can make or break your experience and their care and effort level. And so, definitely something that I feel lucky to have, lucky to have been blessed with. It's one of the major reasons I went with the company that I went with. And so, other than that, I mean, on the family tip, things are going great there. Wifey just finished up a couple tests. They gave him like a take home test, something different this week. They kind of switched it up, and so she typed, she like, nah, I want to go ahead and knock it out so I can enjoy the weekend. I don't want to be thinking about it till Monday, Tuesday. I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, I would do it the other way. That's probably why she's in med school and I'm watching. But other than that, her brother is here, and we're gonna do something out of the box tomorrow. We're planning on going either skiing or snowboarding. We still figuring out which one we want to do, but the place offers both, so it's just a matter of which box do we hit. So it'll be a first time for either one, and so I'm excited. But I didn't know the spots. They let you rent out the equipment, the boots, and all that. The Gore-Tex keep you dry and all that. So they'll take care of you. It looks like, and they'll give you the lessons. So I'm excited, and maybe I can provide a video update or something for the community next week.
Okay, okay. Something that you said that I'm thinking about was you said constructive feedback from the job front. Tell me about that. Like, tell me more about that.
So I'm in like a unique program. I don't want to say unique, but it's a program where I'm in I'm in the staffing industry. That's I'm in sales, but I'm in the staffing industry. But they have this really brilliant program to where we could just put you in sales right away, and that's not a bad thing. But they say, in order to, because I'm going to be selling what my recruiters are doing. I'm selling the recruiting engine. I'm selling the power of our recruiters. What better way for me to know what the recruiters are doing than to become a recruiter? Or at least, let me not say become a recruiter, but be a recruiter for 3 months. That's not enough time to become a recruiter, but you get what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
they put you into the fire. They let you see what is it like. And so, man, it's just been such a eye-opening experience for me. And I mean, I can talk on that all day long, but just going back on the feedback. One of the key points that he pointed out to me was that, making sure I don't forget the long term for the short term. That's one point he hit on. Because for me, I'm very I would say I'm futuristic, but I can also I've come to see that I can really obsess over short term goals.
Hmm.
And so he was like, I do want to achieve some success in this phase that as a recruiter. I do want to hit metrics and whatnot, but make sure I still maintain the ability to broaden out and think, why am I learning this? What is the grand purpose of this? Because it's not to become an awesome recruiter, because you can't. I don't even know if you can do that in 3 months, but figure out how to assimilate those skills back into sales. And so that's
Hmm.
and so it's exciting. It's definitely, again, that's part of the reason why I chose this opportunity. It's something I hadn't seen before, and so it's fast paced, and it's a great opportunity to learn.
Okay. Now that's cool. That's cool. So that's gonna be beautiful for the theme of the show today. I'm gonna go ahead and release it, and then I'll share a little bit about mine. So just as a teaser before I share for me. So today is leveraging your funding partner while building wealth, being middle class. And so that's the teaser on what the theme for the show today is. But before I get into the show, my week was good. I started my men's group, high performance men's group this week. Really great. That's gonna be a game changer. Excited with the thing that's happening in the group. Uh, can't give you too many details because you need to be a part of the group. Uh, so I'm in a secret society right now. I can only give you bits and pieces. I can't give you the whole game. You gotta invest in that
For sure.
to get the full game. No, I'm just having fun, but it's just geared towards getting better in all areas of life. your career, your life, your finance, your body, spiritually, all those things. Uh, that way you're more well-rounded. And naturally, there's certain things that you need to work on sooner rather than later, such as maybe fitness or your health or your faith, and or maybe it might be your career. So every person is different, and everybody's in a different place in their journey. For me right now, your boy got to work on his health, man. Like I gotta work on that, and so that's what I'm working on. So I would say that's the major highlight for me is I hired a coach, a coach. I worked with him in the past. We've gotten phenomenal results. Your boy got matter of fact, your boy.
Uh-oh.
That
There we
that's
go.
that's that's so KB coming back. KB, so Project 2025 is on the way.
You're going to the lab. Okay.
I'm going in the lab.
All
Gotta
right.
gotta get my swag back. Gotta, going in. I'll be 40 this year, so I gotta put in that work. And so I had to go in my bag and say, you know what? Let me call my coach. Like, let me call my coach. We've gotten the results before. Let's do it. And so I reached out to him, went ahead and made the investment. And I also have a nutritionist that's going to be overseeing the process. And so your boy about to be locked in, and that officially starts on Monday. Right now, he's working on, my meal plans. They're working on my meal plans and all of that, and then my because it's always good to start, get a workout plan. Like, sure, you know what you're doing, but like just to start fresh, start where you are, and get a brand new workout plan as well. And so I'm excited to start a new workout regimen and just get the ball rolling and start seeing the results. But the bigger point is it's the process, right? Like who I'm becoming in this phase of my life in the process of going through it. So the results are going to be there, but it's like it's gonna going through that day to day, weighing in, tracking my macros, all of that. That's a whole process in that. And fitness and sports and all of that is so interrelated to anything that you do in life, whether it be your career where you tracking your progress, whether it be in your relationship, in your marriage where you tracking your progress or lack of progress, or you are not, or you are just not even paying attention to it because whenever you already when things have gotten away from you, and
uh,
you don't even want to look in the mirror no more. You like, "Ah," or you don't want to step on that scale. You like, "Ah."
nah, the batteries and died. You ain't changed. I don't think I got the batteries. You know you got some.
But yeah, but it's funny how humans we get very creative on avoiding things when we know we need to put in that work,
Yeah,
because it's just going to be a reflector of what you're not doing.
for sure.
And so excited, man. So that's that on that front. So without further ado, we're gonna get into we're gonna get into the show. So the first segment, what we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about I'm gonna go into personal finance route first, personal finance and the economy, and versus doing a screen share, I'm gonna read a few things and then we're gonna talk about it. Inflation is causing financial stress. These five strategies can help you build a better budget.
Mm.
What are those? One, and this is a CNBC article that I found that I thought it would be worth talking about. So one, a spreadsheet or just a pen and a paper. Basically, it's just talking about just keeping it super basic, super simple, not getting fancy yet, and it's covering all the main bills. And what I've discovered is all you really have to do is go to your bank account and you can look and see what's been coming out of your bank account the last 2 to 3 months, and you can get a feel for what your spending habits are. But you really also need to understand like your core bills that you have that's a necessity, like you that's operating that you need to operate your household, but it also highlight those things that you just coffee shop here, coffee shop there. Not a good thing or bad thing, but go here, go there, and you'll realize how much you're nickel and diming yourself. But then also you'll see how many apps that you may have that you may have even forgot about is just on autopilot.
Yep.
And so what happens is a lot of times these companies they remove the friction. They remove the friction to make it easy for you to sign up auto pay, and then you just forget and you just get auto paid to death.
Yeah. Man, auto pay and Apple Pay. I think we talked about that last week, man. I got another story. Last night. Left my wallet in the car. But at least it's in the car. I know where it's at. So it's cold. I'm in Boston. It's cold. So I go up to the register. They didn't brought the check. I'm about to go out the door, but I say, let me ask real quick. Hey, can I pay my tab with Apple Pay? Yes, sir. You sure can. I know they were so excited to know that I was going to pay and wasn't going to dine and dash. I had my jacket on and all that, but man, I ended up I tipped a little more just because I could use Apple Pay. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's just a little example. They removing the friction. I thought that was a really good way to put it. I didn't feel any friction. I didn't have to go out in the cold. I just had to tap my phone real quick.
Tap that phone. Tap that phone. All right, number two, budgeting apps. There's a lot of different budgeting apps out there. You've probably heard people mention Rocket Money, where that I think that one, I'm not sponsoring anything, but I think that's one of the ones where it'll help you find all of the subscriptions that you're on, and it'll take you off of them if that's what you want to do, and it'll help you save some money that way. But there's other free ones. Um, just look around, do your research. We don't have to go too deep there. Uh, three, I'm like, you can do the cash stuffing, aka the envelope method. I will say that if you were in California,
Mm,
obviously that's an extreme. But when that's that, I would say that's the other side of it, though. Or California or somewhere else where like if something happens in your home and your cash is in your home, you risk that. But that's a one-off. Like, how often does something like that happen, right? So I
right.
don't want that to be a deal breaker for you if cash envelope is going to help you build that muscle. But basically, what they're calling out is, hey, keep it simple, go super basic, old school,
Hmm.
put cash in the envelope.
Right.
Me and wife at the beginning of our marriage, we was doing that. It actually works pretty good whenever you like, okay, this is for groceries. Okay,
Hmm.
this is for that. And so like, well, or this is the restaurant budget. Because like once it's gone, it's over with. Like,
Okay.
and so you be like, do I
Okay.
wanna do I want to do I want to spend it on that? No, I'm gonna wait. Or you just like really paying attention. So it had its season for us now, not so much. But that's definitely an option. What are your thoughts when you hear cash envelope? Is that something that you've ever tried before?
Uh, I think my generation, we just grew up in a time where physical cash is just very, I don't want to say rare, but the only times I actually need physical cash is Boston's one of the few cities that has an area or areas that require cash, like to go to the pastry shop or something, or in like the North End. But the barber shop. That's probably the only time I can think where I have to be like, okay, where's the ATM? I need to locate some cash real quick. I don't have because I don't carry cash on me like that. But I think that that's a really good idea for like the envelope stuffing. Because at first I was like, well, maybe you can keep the cash somewhere else. But to me, it sounds like the benefit from this is that it helps you visualize how much these things cost, and it helps you start to associate I have to physically because it really does not hit the same when it's bloop bloop. That
Right.
doesn't hit this. It sounds fun. I want to do it
Yeah.
again. Versus that pulling it out the envelope, you're like, dang, and then hearing that empty envelope, that's not as fun. And so I think it's a good like visualization technique. And I think for people that's new to earning money and spending money, I think they should do that. I would recommend it. Maybe not in large amounts. I wouldn't be doing this with my mortgage or, you know what I'm saying, or my rent, but
Yeah.
do it with like groceries or something, or so, put like half your groceries or something like. It's good to physically manipulate it and feel it leaving, feel it coming in, and make it real again.
Yeah. Yeah, make your finances real again. I love that. But something that you said that you got me thinking, I'm thinking for us, I think for probably for a lot of other people, maybe y'all are like me, the groceries and the restaurant, that's what gets you sometimes.
Yeah.
And so having one, if you did it for nothing else, maybe that one, those two, and like that alone may help be a game changer for you. You could play around with it, but something to think about.
And I would say too, because groceries we don't get tripped up on, but for us it's definitely the restaurants, the because but I would say for people to walk around, I'd walk around the grocery store with a calculator. And I'm not being funny, but I like for us, let's just give a random number. Like we'll say we go to Costco now, so we don't shop as much as we used to. But back in Philly, we hit Aldi once a week, and so we'd say, okay, we want to spend $50 this week, $100 this week, and so I'm the type of person I pull out a calculator, but I didn't need to because she just grew up. It was like a game to her. Her and her mom would just calculate, try to see how much it was. And so by the time we get to the register, I know we budgeted 100. I'm like, I don't. We just throwing stuff in. I'm just throwing things in. Okay, put this in, put this in, put this in. We get to the register. I'm like, how did this come out to be $99.48? Because she didn't strategically to put something back or grab this. I'm like, she really just sat there and calculated all that. But for most of us, the rest of us normal people, probably shouldn't do that in your head. But pull out a calculator. Like, there's no shame in, like, for real. Like, be serious about your finances. Those little going over by 10, 20, $30, it catches up, especially if you do that weekly or however often you get groceries. Yeah.
Number four, next up is the 50-30-20 rule. Have you ever heard that before?
I've heard like breakdowns like that. I don't know. I'm not sure if I know where what is the 50-30-20? How they breaking it?
Okay, so 50% allocating your finances with 50% needs. And
Okay.
so, such as food, housing, transportation.
Right.
30% your wants. That's
Mm,
just wants. 20% savings, your emergency fund, retirement savings, down payment on a home, debt repayments beyond the minimum. So that's
mm,
that's the breakdown in the 50-30-20 rule. Essentially trying to help people have some type of framework with their finances versus just freestyling
mm.
their finances. When you hear that, is that a realistic plan for you specifically? Like when you hear that, what is your reaction?
I think that I can see how some people would be like, man, 50-30, I'm on the 85-15, or
Yeah.
I would just say not to get too caught up in the numerical divisions, but I do like the idea of looking at your income. Okay, let's throw a number out there. $5,000. Let's say you just earn $5,000 in a month. I think it's a good practice to look and see, okay, of that 5,000, how much am I keeping? Am I keeping 20%? Did I save 2 grand? Or I'm not sure if I do, but you know what I'm saying? Like, or how much is going out towards rent and stuff like that? How much is going out towards needs? It's good to like break down and see. And like you said, pull out your statement and see how much is going towards wants. That's the one that you really got to calculate, and that's the one that'll probably surprise most people. Like, oh, I didn't realize I hit Popeyes that many times because these apps are so good. I don't know if you. I think I was telling you about Kava. Again, we're not sponsored, but just I literally have the Kava app. And they're one of the many restaurants that do reward points and all that. When they have it to where you'll walk by the restaurant, it'll pop up on your phone. Hey, we're here.
Really?
You buy Kava. You wanna
For real?
you can scan your rewards if you wanted to. And it's like, bro, I could have been not hungry at all. They know how to put something in front of your face. But yeah.
Wow. I didn't know. We got the Kava app too. We got a whole bunch of points too. But I did not know that. Okay. I learned something new. Yeah, so that's the 50-30-20 is something to explore, at least to get you started thinking about your finances and breaking it up strategically. The last one is number five. I didn't even know this was a thing,
Mm,
and I didn't even realize we were doing it.
mm.
Reverse budgeting.
Oh, what's that?
People get creative with these terms and these labels. I'm like, what? And so me, I'm reading. I'm like, what is reverse budgeting?
Right.
So reverse budgeting is another method that puts your savings front and center.
Mm,
Basically, what you're doing is you're paying yourself first.
okay.
You paying yourself first, then with the rest of the money that's left over, that goes to the bills. Like goes to the bills and all the other things. So you always put yourself first. And I'm like, why wouldn't they just say pay yourself first? Uh, and
Right.
so I didn't think, and so for me, because we always like to make it real and just be open. For me, paying, I've always looked to, well, we since we've been married, we've gotten really serious about paying ourselves first. And what does that look like? Funding your 401k, automatically having that already coming out, but not just your 401k. Then putting money, then also maybe investing into your putting a certain amount going to your brokerage account
Mm,
every month, each check or however you want to do that. And then with everything else, like the bills take that. And so what ends up happening is like for us, we always focused on, hey, let's live on one check and let's have one check. Like we not like living at the financial threshold, right? And so we were doing that already without
mm.
calling it reverse budgeting. Essentially is paying yourself first.
I think we got to rename it because I'm thinking. I'm just thinking of a conversation me and my then girlfriend slash fiance. It was like maybe a year or two ago, but I just remember I was like, "Yeah, babe, we got to pay ourselves first." And she looked at me like I was crazy because
Really?
in the sense of like, because in her mind, and I can kind of understand the confusion. Because think about it, when you pay somebody, you don't know what they did with the money. In her mind, she's like, "Oh, so we just pay ourselves and go do whatever with the money." And in my mind, I was like, "Of course
Mm.
not." But now that I'm really reflecting on it, we shouldn't call it pay yourself first. Because think about it, when you get paid, the employer don't care what you do with the money. I think I want to start calling it invest in yourself first, because it's not so much about like I feel like, and even me in the beginning, I would get caught up on like, oh, but you got to pay your bills. If I don't pay them first, I'm gonna get kicked out. But it's more of a mental flip than anything. It's about making sure that you don't come last in your own financial plan. You get what I'm saying? And so, yes, make sure that you got to account for rent, you got to account for XYZ, all the normal stuff. But make sure, to me, I think it's about making sure that you have whatever the amount you want to invest in yourself, whether that's investing into your emergency fund, investing into whatever you want to invest in. But and you can invest a little bit of that into your fund account too. Maybe that's investing. Make sure that you're enjoying the journey, but make sure you have that allocated mentally. And then as soon as you can, go put that money into that account before it gets eaten up by the random expenses that life just always throws at us.
Mm. So learning opportunity for me. So it confuses people when you say pay yourself first. For me, I guess like pay yourself first. Like, okay, so it's for it's better received when a person says invest in yourself first.
I think what we mean gets better reflected. Because I think it's easier. It's a better reflection of what we mean. What you mean for sure.
Okay.
We might flip it up.
Okay. So invest in your future first.
Yes, that lands. I like that.
Okay. 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 I'm gonna have to make a note of that. Okay. And bet because I remember I recorded a video of pay yourself first, and not many people watched it. So so maybe that might have some legs to what you're saying. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like,
They're like,
huh,
nah, Ken, I gotta pay the hairstylist first. What you talking about? I can't do that.
right, right. Okay. Just an epiphany moment for me. Okay, awesome. All right. Invest in your future first.
mm,
All right. All right. Okay, so moving on to the next segment. Coming up, coming up, coming up. So it is layoffs.
mm,
Layoffs. But before I talk about the layoffs, I want to talk about the signs of when you know layoffs are potentially coming or is here. But what I want to talk about specifically is the spin that companies say in your head you should be translating to potential layoffs.
Mm,
Okay. Anytime you hear we're looking to make a strategic move to streamline operations
mm.
by optimizing the workforce
Ah.
to ensure peak performance and increase efficiency.
It's not funny,
You're
but it's like in my mind, I need to dust off my resume. I need to hit up some course. God, they trying to tell you without telling me now. We trying to tell you in corporate HR speak. We trying to be nice about it, but if you can't figure it out, that's not funny. But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if I hear that, I'm scared though. If I hear that, oh man, I'm terrified.
Hey, but hey, you gotta love the game though. Did you hear how that man? It sounded so good, didn't it? Though you like, yeah, yeah, we should have yeah, operational efficiency.
You the optimization. You don't even know it.
Yes.
That's crazy,
Oh man, that's wild, isn't it?
man.
Okay, so let me keep going. Let me keep going. Alignment with strategic priorities.
Mm, okay, okay.
Performance-based decision making.
Mm, okay.
Probably been hearing that a little bit.
Mm,
Investing in talent development.
mm, okay.
Sometimes translation, if there are layoffs happening, they do not want to scare high performers from leaving. So no, we're still committed to
Mm,
investing in talent development despite the layoffs that just happened. Okay. And that might be true. You don't have to be pessimistic about it, but you need to like just use your own critical thinking. Continuous improvement process
mm,
positions the layoffs as a part of ongoing efforts to enhance overall organizational effectiveness.
mm.
That sounds good, don't it?
It sounds like the right thing to do.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Focus on high impact roles. This indicates the company is prioritizing roles that directly contribute to key business outcomes, aka usually we're closer to the revenue generators. And then as far if you're closer to the revenue, but the further you get away from revenue, you should be like
I
shaking in
think
your boots. You should be like, oh,
I
okay,
don't,
that could
I
be
don't,
me.
I don't know if you're going in the direction I think you're going in. Because it was some whole divisions I heard that got laid off in a certain industry. That was like, okay, you don't know, you know what I'm talking about? I think
It's it's probably coming, but
yeah.
yes, but I'm not going there. I know I know what you're saying. It's a whole lot of emotional.
Yeah.
You're talking about DE and I. That's what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
that's not where I was going. Uh, but I knew when when that spun up, I knew that wasn't gonna last. I just
Mm,
kept saying, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna make sure I don't take any of those roles. Shout out to
interesting.
the people that's passionate about it, but I'm not taking up any of those roles because I didn't think they were gonna last, and that was just my thoughts initially. But there's a lot of emotion around that, so I'm just gonna leave that where it's at. Uh, so I just want to get to an example corporate statement. As a part of our commitment to ongoing operational excellence, we are making strategic adjustments to our workforce by focusing on critical roles that directly align with our strategic priorities. This includes a difficult decision to let go of a small number of employees whose performance has not met the necessary standards. We
Mm,
are confident that these changes will position our company for future success by maximizing the talent and potential of our high performing teams.
wow.
Okay. Ken, where are you going with this? I'm glad you asked. There's a leaked memo from Mark Zuckerberg at Meta about reducing their workforce by 5%, and they're going to focus on the low performers. According to Mark Zuckerberg, he said that there's going to be an intense year ahead.
Mm,
Have you heard about that yet?
I had not.
Okay. So this is interesting. This is a little bit of controversy before I get there, before I get into the specifics. I don't know if you know it, but Mark Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan, so I guess he doing the Elon. I guess he doing the Elon.
You on a press run?
But I ain't see him. He wouldn't eat no gummies or nothing. So I guess that,
He
you
already
know,
was pretty funny enough.
Elon, he hit it a couple times. He not the not,
Mhm.
not the gummy, but he was, but when you Elon and you the richest man, maybe you can do some things that people,
Yeah.
a normal person can't do. I'll leave it there. Okay. So the Joe Rogan podcast, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just, little clips or what have you, but I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, and other companies are like aligning, changing things, going away from what you mentioned earlier. Well, what you was kind of hinting at, DE&I initiative. They like getting rid of that, and so DE&I initiatives have been dismissed, and a more masculine work environment is being embraced. This is a quote. This is not me, Ken, talking. This is from a Forbes article. I just want to be clear. Um, in an often quoted podcast appearance on Joe Rogan, Zuckerberg said that the corporate America has gone too far in embracing what he called feminine energy,
Mm,
demonstrating a possible flair for understatement. Meta warned staffers for an intense year ahead, as I said. Okay, so what does that look like? So a 5% work reduction for Meta. Before you understand that, you need to understand their total employee workforce. It's over 85,000 employees worldwide. That's a lot of people.
wow.
Now, 4% of that will be around 5% of that will be around 4,000.
Mm,
So 4,000 people will be impacted. Unfortunately, there's probably going to be a lot of white collar jobs that's going to be a part of that shakeup. Do you think it should be outrage or you just adapt?
man, there was a lot in those statements. Man, I feel like if I'm at Meta and I hear that, I don't know, unless I don't know, regardless, I'm gonna polish off my resume. But like I said, unless I just have that crystal clear communication with my manager, like, nah, we're good. We need you to continue doing what you're doing. We can't do it without you. Type of communication. Unless I'm in that type of position, polishing up my resume just in case. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I thought that was very interesting comments about talking about the feminism in the workforce. I think was that the leaked memo.
Yeah. Well, that's not a part of the week. No, he better not put that in the limb. Ooh, man. No,
That
he
was on
better
Rogan.
not say that. He was on a Joe Rogan podcast. And I do think that the writer from the Forbes magazine, sometimes when you read these articles, you could tell they don't agree, or because you can hear the slant in how they're
Right.
saying things. So the feminine energy was in air quotes. So,
Mm.
stay neutral when you reading these articles, but they can be very triggering for someone, like, just, and that's what that's buzzwords, these things. It invokes an emotion sometimes, and you get out of your element. But absolutely not. That was not on the memo.
I was
Better,
like,
like, you better believe PR and council proofread that memo that was leaked.
right. And I'm oh, okay, I see what you're saying. But then and I'm just curious, like before I'm preface this by saying, of course, Mark Zuckerberg is a very intelligent guy. He is it's been said before by plenty. But my question is, and as I've learned in business, I'm just going to business school. One of the concept I learned was that there's different roles. There's people that's really good at starting a business, coming up with these ideas, and that's just their thing. They're really good at ideation. They come up with ideas. Like he's probably one of the people that nobody else was thinking about at Facebook or thought about it in a way to actually be able to do it. And then there's people that are really good at acting on the ideas of others and making executing. I mean, you know this. My question is, and I'm just ignorant to what Mark Zuckerberg's current role is. What is he, the CEO? I'm not sure what he is, but he's very tied to the company, and I just like I said, he's much more intelligent than I am. I'm sure he knows more about business than I do, but it almost seems like at times he can hinder the public persona, and it just, I mean, I don't know. He hasn't gotten to too controversial a level yet. I don't know, but statements like that, I wouldn't want if I'm the PR team. I'm what's wrong with him? Like if I'm the PR team, I'm getting mad. I'm calling like, hey, can someone get him off of that show? Like, what are we doing? He
Mm.
making us work overtime. We was chilling. Now it's Saturday. We write memos. We dealing with complaints from internal people that saw a headline and thought that their CEO is misogynistic, even if it's not the case. Now it's a fire we gotta go put out real quick.
But that's their job, right? One thing now, here go to pivot, right? One thing that I want to talk about is the company's going in the direction that you don't agree with. I like what you were saying. You like, okay, all right, I think I might be hearing the writing on the wall. I'm not going to operate in fear. And maybe I might be good or maybe I might not be. But let me control what I can control. And let me dust off that resume and start doing some strategic networking, right?
So
And that's all you can control, right? But I said all that to say I'm gonna do a slight pivot, but it's related. I'm not gonna do a screen share. I'm not even about to do all this reading. But it was a guy that made over $500,000 in his role, and he wanted to become an activist, and he wanted to like challenge everything. And then he ended up finding himself getting fired.
mm,
Man, that's a little bit different from a layoff. My thing is, what is the theme of this show? Being like leveraging your funding partner, your corporate job while you're building wealth. As we always say, you are a business, I am a business, we are a business, and our jobs, careers for some that you want to label it go in that direction. It's a funding partner. It's who you have chosen to provide your services to at this particular point in time. And the exchange is you deliver value and they pay you a salary. And
right.
sometimes the dynamics change, and the dynamic changing typically is a layoff.
Mm,
With that being said, the reason that I started this segment with all of those buzzwords is so you can read between the lines sometimes and at least, hey, this is a noted. The other thing that you can do as well is just pay attention to what's going on with the earnings calls. Pay attention to the trends. Is your company, if they're publicly traded, are they hitting earnings? Are they hitting their earnings targets? Have they missed it multiple times? In your head, you got to think like a business. Like you got to assess this as a business. You can't drink the Kool-Aid and you just got your head down and you just drinking the Kool-Aid of the company and you just blind to everything that's going on around. Like, and part of everything that's going around, what's going on in the political landscape? What's going like is the landscape changing and that's going to impact the business world? Like, how does that impact your company? Like, what are the moves that your company is making? What is going on with the earnings report? just with your own eye test, are you seeing things being outsourced? Are you seeing things shifting around? Are you seeing your manager starting to say certain things without saying certain things? Like, just got to pay attention. It's just all data points. And because you are a business, you have to make moves accordingly.
For sure. Man, it, you're right. Like you really have to, it starts from within. And I think you just got to spread it out. And so, like I said, you got to start with you, LLC. You got to start with yourself. And I think that helps you be a better employee because I think it just makes you more serious. When you're, whether it's a role where you're more, individual by yourself or even in a team setting, I think you become the type of teammate that people want to be around. And so, but I think that for me, the way I've been looking at it lately is that because I'm sure, so maybe some of our listeners are familiar with the S2S pod or Jamal, how he does the 5 pillars, or, I'm not sure of all the faith, family, finance, and all that, but I kind of made one for myself. And so it makes more sense for me because, I was just thinking on what matters to me. That's what matters to Jamal, but I got to figure out what matters for me. And so for me, it broke down to career, health, business, and relationships. And so career and business, that's the one that's most relevant to this conversation. Those two are important to me because, as I'm trying to figure out what my identity is, am I an employee? Am I this? Am I that? Those are all just labels. What really matters is to me, my career, I break down career as just what are you doing for money? How are you bringing money in? Don't matter what you call it. Are you an employee? Are you this? Are you a that? I don't care what wheel you on. Are you making money and how much, what different ways? That's just it. And then when I say business, that's okay. What are you doing with the money? So we can get into that later. But I just think that taking your career seriously can mean several different things. It can mean being the best version of yourself at work. And it can also it's not either or. I guess what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't have to be either or, but it can be also once you clock out, you've given the company the time they deserve, put that same time into yourself because you deserve it also.
Hey, that's real. So I'm actually going to leave it there. I like that ending. Transitioning into another topic. So this is a reaction to something that I found. I was reading the comment section of a video that I'm not going to mention, but I did read the comment section and it was in the career space.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to get your reaction. It's 10. Let me cue it up the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. Yes.
It was 10 lessons that someone over 50 learned about corporate America, and they wish they would have known this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to read it, and we're going to react to it. Number one, turn in work when it's due, never early.
Oh, this is a comment. I'm just clarifying. This
Yeah,
is a
this is
comment.
a comment from someone
Okay.
that worked in corporate America over 30 years.
I
By
got
all means, they were successful or what have you,
you.
six-figure earners. This is what they said.
Got you. Mm.
Turn in work when it's due, never early.
Mm. Okay. You want to list all 10 or react to each one?
We're gonna go one by one.
Okay. So this one reminds me of a TikTok I saw. And it was about law. And I don't know much about law, but everyone in the comments was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so accurate." When I was a lawyer, but it talked about how it's just funny when someone, I guess, when you're a new lawyer, and other people come up to you and like, "Hey, are you busy?" You need to find a way to say yes, like courteously, because if you say no, I'm gonna make you busy because it's plenty of work to go around. Not, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess it's that same mentality of it's not even about not being a team player. It's just about if you spend your day putting out other people's fires, you don't put out your fires, and your company expects you to put out your fires too. You get what I'm saying? or find a
Yeah.
fire a self-initiated fire.
That's interesting that you said that. Okay, that's an interesting perspective. What made me when I read that, what made me think about it, someone said something to me one time, and they said, and this is when they were going to the office. They were like, "Man, I could do this. I can literally do this in like 2 days, but I just stretch it out over a week, week and a half, because that's typically how long it take everybody else. And so if I turn it in early, they're gonna keep giving me more and more stuff to do. And just
Mm.
I remember hearing somebody say that before. And so I'm torn. I'm torn because do you just want to be sitting around like knowing you got something done and you like, yeah, I ain't, I'm gonna coast versus if you can take on more, do more. But I think I understand what they're saying is like it's just a balance. But I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I'm torn. I think if you can do more, you should. I didn't say overextend yourself, but I think you should probably go ahead and just knock it out. Two, never mention nor show any additional talents.
Oh, I don't know about. Well, that's interesting. I don't.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't. I I mean, I'm gonna disagree because I mean I get the perspective of like this sounds like I don't want. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's fear based, but it's like, oh, I'm scared they're gonna make me go above and beyond my job description. I feel like most jobs do that anyway. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that just comes with the territory. Yes, we're
Yeah.
gonna expect you to pitch in a little more, but you gonna cry about it, bro? We're paying. Like
Right.
this isn't volunteer work, and so
Right.
my thing is, I'm thinking about it from a perspective of not even so literal on the nose about talents for the job's sake. I'm thinking about it almost sounds like you're suppressing your personality and you're just trying to be a chameleon at work versus I think about some people that I know who have been on a leadership track. Yes, they are good at their job, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in a position to evaluate that. But what I could evaluate was they showed up and they made a positive impact to the leadership. Leadership liked them, not just buddy buddy, but like the leadership recognized, hey, the office is a little happier when that person is here. They have a good effect. That's their talent is bringing up other people, even just their coworkers. You get what I'm saying? And so I wouldn't suppress things like that.
Yeah. I didn't agree with that one at all. I was like, yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Because I think you're gonna suffer while you're trying to do the bit, you're gonna suffer as a result of that. But I think the way you broke it down, I think I agree 100% with how you framed it. Number three, never volunteer to do extra work. In hostile environments, it will become your responsibility or expected.
I mean, like I said, if this is the guide to become a chameleon at work, I agree 100%. But if this is like, I mean, again, I'm young, I'm junior, but it seems like I would say do it strategically. You don't got to sign up for every, because, you got to, like I said, again, the 9 to 5, okay, yes, put in some extra time here and there, but I find that having something to do outside of that helps you feel more energized at your 9 to 5 because you know that, okay, I got something I'm gonna be able to shift my mind to. But I think that this is just funny. Like, bro, like, okay, be a chameleon if you want to, but bro, if you really want to advance, because it just makes me wonder, what have they done for 30 years? You know what I'm saying? Did they hire for 30 years? This is what was the next? Let me before I say too much. I want to hear what's next. I gotta hear one more before I
So, in my opinion, I would say there's nothing wrong with volunteering. Just be strategic with what you volunteer on. Like, does this lead to the pat? Like, there's a couple, one or two things. Does this lead to promotion opportunities? Does this lead to, and if not a promotion, how rewards a bonus? Like, is that connected to that in some way? And then there's just some projects that you may volunteer. You're just passionate about it. It's just
right,
something that gives you energy.
right.
And
Mhm.
and so that's where my mind was going. But just to say, don't volunteer things through in a hostile environment. It's like,
I don't know what you're talking,
what?
but I want to flip it. So outside of work, I mean, this applies to work too, but it just makes me think of maybe we have people that's in school. Like this when you said it like that, that makes me think of either high school or college. You trying to sign up for every organization,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
extracurricular, because you're like, oh, the employer's gonna like this. But like it's the same energy of just sign up for what makes sense for you. Think about where you can really, I mean, yes, have that selfish tilt of okay, what can I really benefit from? Yes, do that, but also balance it by saying, okay, but also what organizations can I really help somebody? Like
Yeah.
if you're an underclassman, eventually I'll be a senior, I'll be a junior. So what organization would I have fun guiding the younger people? And so take that energy outside of school, outside of work. You can do that in real life too, and go find or like you found a men's group you could if you would have had that same energy to outside of work, you wouldn't have found your men's group, and you would be missing out on gyms.
Facts. Facts. Yeah. Number four, read the work environment before offering any new ideas or suggestions.
Okay, I'm not mad at that one.
This is okay to do if you're in a healthy work environment. Otherwise, it will become your job for zero pay. That's the energy that they're coming from. I just want you to know.
Uh,
I had to.
I mean, he's very consistent. I'll give him that. But I will say, I just think it's a good general and practice. It's just a good practice in general to think before you speak. Because this again, this is there are people that get paid to manage us as human resources. This isn't me with my homeboys, 11 p.m. hanging out. No, this is a professional office environment. And so, yes, think twice before you say whatever you're going to say. And even beyond like getting in trouble, HR, no, just you want to be for me, communication is such a powerful tool. And so I mean, we can get into all the biblical stuff, power of the tongue, but man, like you really can shift things with what you say. And so, yes, I think twice. Be strategic with things that you communicate to your management, your coworkers, all that.
Yeah. In terms of new ideas for no pay and all that, you getting paid.
Yeah.
Just if you see something that can get better, that's called adding value in my head. That's just adding value. If you see something that can improve, why wouldn't you say something? Now, I will say that doesn't mean that your idea has to be implemented because maybe there's some context that you don't quite understand. And that's why the company's going another direction. And so you have to be okay with if you do share new ideas, is not implemented.
Right.
And also don't just be sharing ideas without the thought of this is also how you can implement that. Because a lot of times people have a whole bunch of ideas, and then it's
Mm,
like, okay, but somebody got to implement this. So have you thought about that part? Do you
right.
have some ideas around what the implementation of that will look like? And sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes when you just bring new ideas to the table, whether they're implemented or not, it's showing that you care.
Right. That's true. And it makes me think about so how I was saying earlier, is there's people that's really good at coming up with the business ideas.
Yeah.
You need them at the start because without the idea at the start, you ain't got nothing. There's people that's really good at laying the groundwork, getting the business up and running. And then there's people that, okay, now that the business is up and running, worth billions, we need y'all to sustain and keep growing. That's a different phase than the other three. And so like this person, it almost sounds like they're saying they're trying to be an idea person, but we this is a firm idea. This company thousands in the case of Meta 80,000 people and already contributed ideas. We like you said, sometimes the better way you can bring value is to the implementation side of things. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that will become zero pay. Basically, they want ideas equal more pay or
Like enough people are getting paid for the ideas. That's a good yeah. Like you yeah, I get what you're saying.
so five, never feel scared to ask upfront about compensation for extra duties.
I don't want to
Okay,
be.
let's make it real. Let's make it real. Let's make it real. Okay. Your manager come to you right now with something that's not a part of your job title description, which is a very terrible mindset to have. But
Right.
and you're filtering it through, I ain't getting paid extra for that. And so you're being transactional from a monetary standpoint when if you read your job description, it says and other job roles and duties as needed. I don't know if you ever read like go look at job descriptions, you're gonna see that on there. And
Yeah.
so when a person says that's not in my job title, but it
This,
is.
this job description is not exhaustive of all the. Yeah, I'm telling you. I just saw that the other day. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But like, it, my first thought was, I don't even want to be this person's friend because this is not just the energy you keep at work. You don't just turn this off as soon as you clock out. You got to be like this. Period. And another, like you at the restaurant with this person, like I didn't get the fries. Ready $2. Don't trip on me on fries. But at the same time, it makes me curious on has this person been a full-time employee for 30 years, or it's almost they talking like a contractor mindset, like a forever nomad, you know what I'm saying? Like that's never a permanent home, constantly doing contracts. Not that that's a bad thing, but this is almost like their kind of language of like, because they're very like it's different. Like
Yeah.
I know
You
that
build hourly. Like it's built
exactly.
hourly. Yeah.
And there's no like, oh, boss man, can I take tomorrow off and still get paid? No.
Oh. Yeah.
So I can understand it in that scenario of like, well, this is going
Yeah.
to cost me an extra 2 or 3 hours, and I get billed hourly. So in
Yeah.
that case, I kind of get the mindset, but he framed it as if he's a full-time employee and climbing the corporate ladder. I don't see how that attitude can mix with that.
It doesn't. Okay. So moving on. Never feel scared to have new duties put on record as your job description.
I mean, duh. I won't say duh, but like, ah,
But I don't think that matters
yeah,
because it's just keep your own brag book and
mm-hmm,
you keep documentation of that.
true.
That way, as you're networking and telling your story and engaging with other people outside of your company, you at least you're able to tell your story. And then also internally, you can tell your story as well. Like if you're leading up to a promo or something, or just have a good bonus, or you're preparing for an end of the year type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't even be thinking in terms of job description. I would be thinking in terms of impact.
Where do you even find your job description after you start? That's what I'm thinking. Like, and then when you go to the next company, it's not like I've been, hey, X company, can you send them my job description, tell them what I did? I mean, yes, references, but like what you said, I think it's supposed to be self-led. Like, I'm not expecting my company to fill out my resume too as they hand me my walking papers. I'm responsible for marketing myself.
Yeah, I don't. The job description doesn't matter. I don't. You should be thinking about the impact. It you, each opportunity you go to, each company you provide value and services to, you should be thinking about what's the value that I provided while I was there, and that's not 10 bullet points. Like if you had to sum it up in 1 to 2 sentences or three tops, what was that? I generated X amount of dollars for the company while I was there, which as a result, it was this. I I did XYZ. As a result, the company I cut costs by 15%. As a result, the company saved $10 million. I did this as a result, my time there, da 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 da. Like it's like something tangible, not I assisted with a call. This I booked 10 appointments. So what?
Right.
I closed 50 deals, which led to $50 million. That land different. And so my point is, I'm just coming off the cuff. I'm just riffing, but what was the impact? Like with you being there, like before you came, then you came, what did you do? And did it even matter that you were there?
Mm-hmm.
And for your sake, you need to be able to know like what you did because you're gonna need to pull that into your next opportunity when you're engaging with someone else. Like, okay, so at your current company or your previous company, what did you do? Like, they're not looking for a job description. They're looking for like the impact. Like Keon closed over $10 million of business for the company. They like, oh, so that means he can close at least 10 million for us if we put him in the right position, and that lands different.
Right. Even and some of the way I see it too is not even because I think for sales it's more measurable and like quantifiable. But I'm seeing like other roles too. It's like the way to quantify it is just on years. Like it's almost like I'm seeing some hiring managers. It's like if they don't have at least 3 years, I don't care if they had the most phenomenal 2.5 years. They could have invented NASA in 2.5 years, but until they get that extra zero point 0.5, I'm not gonna consider you. And so like it's just I don't know. People gonna have to tune into Patreon. We can do a whole thing on just job seeking. We can do a whole series, but man, it's so much to it, man.
Yeah, it is. Number 7, try to get most correspondences in writing and time stamped.
It sounds like I'm covering my butt.
That's
Like,
exactly what it is. I will say that sometimes that we we have communications with people, and sometimes people get amnesia. And
okay,
so, did it really happen? So, did that conversation really happen? Even though you know it happened, but if somebody come around and it comes up again, it's like Keon and Keon never talked to me about that, and you like, oh, you played me, like you played me. So, I don't think you need to be goofy about it, but with the critical conversations as it relates to projects, as it relates to like major key things, you just need to send it in an email. It don't
mm,
need, and you don't need, it don't even need to be from a fear-based perspective. It can just be people just get busy and they forget. Like, and it don't even have to be nothing no more than that. Now you do have some people that will finesse things, but let's just go in the direction of like people have their own initiative, their own things that they're working on, and then you're meeting with them and you're telling them something that you need to get done. Okay, get in line. That's number 10 on my list of to-dos. Like, or at least make sure you document it that way you can keep following up. And so if something comes up where you wasn't able to, move things along, you could see like, okay, well, I've been following up with this person and I need this particular person to get this thing done.
right.
They're just not being responsive. And I've tried in good faith 10 times or, 4 times to try to. So that's where I would say CYA, but you don't have to be like
Mhm.
where you being so obvious, like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna make sure I get this in writing. So like,
right.
come on, let's just give people
Yeah,
grace. Let's just make like people are busy. Let's lean in that direction. And so I'm just gonna make it easy for you, and I'm gonna put this recap meeting in an email for you to reference when you get a chance. So you don't even have to like put any emotion on it or like any of that. Don't be too informal. Sometimes you don't need to be too informal because sometimes people are just busy and they just forget.
and to me, I think the conversation for me is also about just more broadly just documentation. I
Yeah.
think that you don't have to do fear-based documentation. I think
Right.
that for probably the majority of careers, maybe some out there that you don't need to document, but for most of them, I think that you wouldn't suffer from being better at documenting. This is
Yeah.
sales. Organization is next to godliness in sales. Like if you can't keep track of the things that you're doing, like, and I mean, of course, sales is the first thing I think of because that's my industry. But I mean, I also think of when you think of sales documenting, it's good to just keep a paper trail of your efforts, not just to be like, hey, look what I did, but also for coaching purposes, just for personal review. But that's just for revenue. I'm thinking of life and death situations like in the medical field. And I think I saw a
Mm.
story the other day where a nurse got arrested because they falsified documents. And it could be something as simple as saying, yeah, I checked on that patient. And then another nurse that really was aware of the situation looks at the charts and says that patient been dead 30 minutes before you said you checked on him, and
Mm.
now you're going to jail. Or something as simple as it don't even got to be about life and death. It could be something about drugs. You documented that the drugs were in the cabinet. They went check and they're gone. You was the last person on documentation, but because you was sloppy and wasn't keeping track, and it's just yes, CYA, but also I just think that being proactive at being a good documenter, it just prevents problems.
Yeah, I like that. I like that perspective. I like that perspective. Number 8, keep your personal business to yourself. Shut your mouth.
Okay, yeah.
Shut your mouth. Don't
I,
nobody want to know about your financial freedom dreams and goals. They
I,
might be pissed at you because they so far from it, they're gonna make your life a living hell. Or are you really committed to the job? We
that's
we're
funny.
concerned that you don't have your full attention at work, and
mm,
we maybe your other endeavors may be getting in the way.
mm.
you know, Shut your mouth. Don't you say nothing about all these side hustles you got going on. You better shut your mouth. And it might truly be what you're doing in your 5 to 9, 5 to 10. Ain't nobody business what you doing.
Yep. And it's like, okay, yes, it is the perspective of, yeah, keep it from them, keep it from them. They might fire, they might, but
Oh,
also,
that's just none of your business.
and also that too, and also just the perspective. Think about it like this: why would I, as the founder or CEO, want to be paying all of y'all to talk about y'all own business? Do that off the clock, do that at lunchtime. But we are here for one goal. Like, not of course, not saying you can't have side conversations, but that's almost like espionage. I'm being dramatic, but it's like, bro, you need to focus on doing your job the best of your ability. Why are you talking about what you're doing outside the job? You know what I'm saying? And it's it's a lot that can be said there, especially about me. My wife, she calls it evil eye. When other people put that evil eye on you, it's a lot of things that's there. But I'll say, I personally, I tend to just be more on the cautious side of sharing stuff at work. I just prefer not to share. I've learned that sometimes when you share things, you can't unshare it. You can't unring certain bells. And so it's better to just shut up. Like the guy said, like this is one point of his. I'm like, okay, I endorse it because just read the room. And even still, don't just read the room. Okay, I'm gonna act like they act. Read the room and still act the way you gonna act. Be you. Don't compromise yourself, but just act accordingly. And just like I said, to know that you can't unring certain bells.
That's a fact. Don't tell people your personal business. Be careful on that. Sure, you may come across some people that's your friend, that y'all actually become friends. But most people, they're gonna be in their associate bucket and coworker bucket, and that's why you're there. Leading to, I'm gonna switch it around. Number 10, any company that says we are family, be on guard. Any company that is actually, I'll leave it there. We ain't no family. We ain't family. We're not family. I'm here to do a job. I'm gonna bring good energy. We gonna have a good time. I mean, we gonna, have great working relationships, but we're not blood. We're not a family.
Mm, wow. I think it sounds simple, but like I think it's really important to like delve into that because more oftentimes than not, people spend more time with their coworkers, especially if you're not remote or hybrid. If you're going
We're
in
not
bi-weekly,
family.
like but you see them more than your family. You like,
But
man,
we're not family. Don't lose that. I keep saying it because you can lose yourself
exactly.
because of how much time you spend together. Now, don't get it misconstrued with you build bonds with people, but let me tell you something. You're gonna leave that job and you're gonna be an afterthought.
Mm,
There'll be some people that might check on you here and there, but for the most part, out of sight, out of mind, because work still had to go on.
yeah,
Um,
it's
we
not
ain't
personal.
family.
It's just business, nothing personal. That's
It's
all.
business, nothing personal, and you don't have to have this negative disposition or like, hey, I'm here to do a job and I ain't dealing with y'all. That's not the disposition to have. You can be you, but being mindful of a family doesn't, hey, you're laid off, you're done, you're out of here. Like, or the lack of transparency of all this corporate spin. You don't do that to family. And again, it's not personal. That's just how business is. That's why we aren't family.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like, what family pays you to be in it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
now, if it was volunteership, okay, cool. It's more camaraderie, but we all. I think that I do. I like this point only because I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I hate when people. I'm not going to speak on a certain source, but I heard someone say, "We're not just doing this for the money, or we're not doing it for the money." A part of me was like, "That's a lie." Yes, we are. Now, of course, don't say it like that, but like, let's just be honest. Neither one of us
Yeah.
was on this. Not I'm talking about me and you. I'm talking about, but it was a Zoom. It was a business Zoom, and I was like, neither one of y'all would be on that Zoom if y'all was off on vacation. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the money. But what I like about being upfront and like, let's just be honest, because now we can. It's not about just getting straight to the business, but it's like now we can all like I'm forgetting how to phrase it, but it's like we can be respectful of each other's time. You know what I'm saying? Like we can
Yeah.
all understand what the common goal is. There's no confusion on, oh, but that's my buddy. Oh, but I don't want to hurt such and such feelings. It's not about people feelings. People get paid here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the whole point is to increase the whole company's revenue so we can all get paid more.
Yeah.
If you're not on that team, I don't care about your feelings. If that's not how you think about it.
Yeah. And you can be a person of compassion, a person that where you genuinely care about people, but we're not family.
Yeah.
like, and I can say that in a neutral place and like, I like that. I like that person. You know, I can see myself being friends with that person, but we're
Mm,
not family.
mm.
Last one, I switched the order around because it was the way that flowed. This one is do not get sucked in by food or keychains, mugs, t-shirts, pens, notebooks, etc. with company logos.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on that one? As you're wearing a pen university, even though
God,
you don't work with pen, but like when you hear that, where do your mind go?
nah, it definitely makes me think about like my last company. I use a speaker in the bathroom when I take a shower. They gave me this big old umbrella. So it's like I appreciate that stuff. Maybe because I'm still a junior in my career, still in my first 2, 3 years. But I mean, obviously that stuff is just like the confetti on top once you get in though. It's like I wasn't like, man, like, okay, this company's gonna give me an umbrella. That company's gonna give me some marshmallows. I didn't give a what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Keychains. Like, bruh, my paycheck, I could have went and bought 1,000 keychains if I really wanted to, or the keychain I wanted. I wasn't worried about the extras. But I will say it shows that because you could look at it from two ways. You could look at it from, oh, this job finna be some BS. They finna work us to death. Look, they trying to be extra nice. They brought us pizza on the first day. That's how you know. That's the fear-based way to look at it. Or I like to look at it as, you know what? They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to send me whatever they sent me, the little goodie. In my current, oh man, my current job, how can I forget? They sent me some cookies with
Oh,
like
dang.
I was like, wow, they didn't have to do that. I was gonna come regardless. Like y'all already got me. But man, it just shows like it's just some personality and flair. And so I can't never be mad at people being compassionate. Like you said, that's a good example of ways to be compassionate in business. That was a business expense. They're like, okay, new hires, we want to raise morale. They didn't just do that 100% out of kindness of their heart, but the cookie still tasted good. You know what I'm saying? So,
You ate them.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I like some good swag. I like
Yeah.
some good swag. Hey, no harm, no foul in me. You know, I love it. Um, Probably when I leave, I'm gonna throw it all away.
Right.
Because I'm not going. I'm probably not gonna be a walking billboard for a company I don't represent anymore. But yeah.
Oh no, man, they gave this North Face. I don't think I'm throwing it away until
Wait,
I
wait. It depends on like if it's
like a
like you said, a North Face
sweatshirt.
is some of quality. I'm gonna keep that, but all the other little trinkets, that's
Yeah,
probably going in the trash.
you didn't keep the quarter zips and all that. Nah.
It depends. Like if it's good quality, it still might be gym. It might still be. I probably could still work out with that, or like if I'm going to the park or something. But if it's otherwise,
Right.
I'm throwing it in the trash.
For sure.
Yeah. But I'm not throwing it in the trash feeling some type of way. It's just like, all right, moving on.
Yeah.
More that's it. So I'm no negative energy around it. Even if it happens to be a layoff or something, I'm like, all right, well, throwing it away. Okay. We talked about a lot. I think it'd be good that we end the show with one last reaction. This is more of a fun reaction, but it's real. It's real. It's real. I was listening to a show, and this is about money and relationships.
Okay.
For us, man, woman, relationships, because we're married.
Mhm.
The woman, let me. I'm the breadwinner. You are my house husband. She disrespected him,
Dang.
didn't really respect him
Called him a
bec-
house cat. God.
because she made 5 times more than he did.
I'm running some math. Okay. Okay.
She was in tech and he was a PhD student.
That's not fair though if he's a student,
Okay, that's fine.
but
But
still.
but if you're married, okay. So when you hear that, where did your mind go? And I have my thoughts and I will go from there.
Man, first of all, I'm just skeptical anytime anything's done on a public platform because, okay, is she just on there auditioning for a new man?
No,
Because
no, 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 no. It was they both were sitting right there. So it wasn't she wasn't by herself. He wasn't by himself.
that's what
And
I'm saying. He right there and she's right there physically, but mentally she already clocked out. Like, I'm done with this dude. Like, I'm really on here just so someone else can scoop me out. You never know. But okay, I'm gonna give her the
mm,
benefit of the doubt of nah, she's up there really genuinely trying to work things out because I didn't see it. But it to me, it just seems like a lack of teamwork. It's because especially once you're married. Now, pre-marriage, I don't want to say it's a solo race, but it's two individuals coming together and y'all are trying to figure out things. But once you're married, it's like a spirit of teamwork. I think it should be. It should be. I mean, I can't speak to. I'm very biased. I'm speaking to people that met when they were young, and you know what I'm saying, like kind of building together. It, Now it's a whole different scenario if like they met later on in life. She already was making money and stuff like that. I don't know the context. I don't know if he got debt. I don't know. I don't know any of this. But regardless, once y'all decided to say I do to each other, then that's when all the labels of who's the breadwinner and the it just gives me the vibe of using money as because you know how people say money is the root of all evil. That's not true to me. But money can be manipulated. You know what I'm saying? Money can be manipulated if you are already evil or you have evil feelings inside. Money's just a vessel. And so in that moment, if she wanted to demean him, money was the easiest way to do it. If she wanted to humiliate him or make him feel some type of way, bringing that up was the easiest way to do it. And so, like I said, that just screamed no teamwork, lack of cooperation, and it's just miscommunication somewhere in there, clearly, between them two.
okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. As men, a lot of times we're deduced to our incomes.
Mm,
And if you don't make a lot of money, sometimes it could be perceived that you don't have any value.
mm.
However, I just always focus and tell people, especially men, you got to keep pushing. You got to get your bread up. And it's not from because people aren't going to say that you're not valuable. Like you just need to push and push because if your woman pushing and she just like pushing harder than you, it's going to be hard for her to have that respect for you. And that's just real talk. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, you want you want your wife to look up to you. To you're the leader, you're the head of the household. You want her to be inspired by you. They want to be inspired by you. And when you're not doing everything that you can do, sometimes there's some resentment there. And because sometimes, let's keep it real, sometimes they actually may see the potential in you. And so they're taking a chance on you because they see the potential, but that potential has to eventually be materialized. And whatever that vision is they saw for you, like they see that, oh yeah, that's he got potential. But if that potential doesn't get materialized, it's gonna be rough for you, buddy.
Mm.
It's that's about as real as I can be. Um, so
And
when
that,
I heard it, I heard, dang, she don't like most most times you would like most times it's just an internal thought, but
mm,
the fact that she spoke it out loud,
you let
she
it out.
really don't respect you. Like
Mm.
like the disrespect is blatant.
In public though.
Like
And you know what? Actually, I think that's a really good point, and that goes back to like that. Like that's when I say communication. That almost points out to me that she'd been wanting to say that, and maybe she just hadn't had the chance. She maybe didn't feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
but,
she said that that's one of the things he brought up. Like he brought it up in a
mm,
public forum, and she said, "Yeah, I said that." Like,
so oh, he brought it up.
yeah, he
Okay,
brought it up, and so obviously that hurt him, right? Like he felt hurt by her
okay,
saying that. And we're not looking to dump on her. Like, dang, bro, like
right,
get your
okay.
bread up. Like, make
I,
like, what can you do to get better? Like, what can you do to
yeah,
improve that? But he's a PhD student, so hopefully that's going to transfer to something. But
I didn't know he brought it up though. Okay, that
now he
changes.
brought it up in terms of because it was someone facilitating the conversation. The good part is hopefully they were working on getting better.
Right.
But we're reacting to
Mhm.
I'm the breadwinner, you are my house husband. That is blatant disrespect.
That's crazy.
and
It is.
it's we laughing, but it's like, dang. Ooh.
Right. And so that makes me, I'm gonna ask, that's why I want to ask you, because like my thing just keeps going back to communication. He should, for it to have hurt him, he didn't know she felt like that when she said it the first time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He didn't, I'm putting it back on him. You should know before you've even got married. I'm not saying, I don't know when she first said these things or, but when they were married or not, he should have like a temperature check. There should, so I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, as you're leading into marriage or, hey, you're already married, let's say you're already married. How can you work together? Especially let's say you're a man looking to maximize your career. How do you communicate this? How do you do it? How do you attack this as a team instead of attacking each other like these two seems like they might have done? Because it's an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? To as a young married couple, I can speak to that. Like for me, I'm very intentional on making sure that we attack things together. Because if you don't do that, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan, or whatever the phrase is, and now you end up attacking each other. So how do you prevent that?
Yeah. How do you prevent that?
Financially, like in the context of finances and ambition and your career building, how do you both build your careers cooperatively and not feel like one's leaving the other behind or one is like, because if you, I can see how having two different levels of ambition can like that's or just having any type of mismatch financially or anything and not communicating on it. That's it'll come up eventually.
You have to be on the same page. And how do you get there? It takes time. Through now, if we're talking pre, then naturally you probably need to get counseling, and then part of the counseling is talking about finances, talking about upbringing, talking about all those things, talking about what was your upbringing with finances, what is your upbringing, what is your credit score, what is your current income, or how do you feel about that? Like getting it out on the table, because a lot of times what happens is people are having these thoughts. The dude is thinking something, his girl is thinking something, and no one is saying anything about it. It's just like we're just pretending like this isn't a thing, and time is just going on, and the resentment is built, and so all of a sudden the person has an outburst, and it's like, whoa, that's how you feel? Like, no, it's probably how they've been feeling. It just they thought it was magically gonna get better without working on it. Like, and so there was some expectations that you just didn't know was there.
Mm,
And so when mentoring or coaching dudes, it's like, hey, look, it's better to go ahead and focus on your finances first so you don't put yourself in that vulnerable state of being disrespected in that way. But then also making sure you choose a partner that, like, once y'all come together, it's we, it's
mm,
us moving forward. What happens is sometimes people get together and technically it was incompatible. Like, and it was a love thing, and we pretend like it was the love thing, and we just ignored all of the other signs where I wasn't interested. And to be fair, because you had to think on, like, think, okay, so put in this perspective of, like, say, go future, say there's a little baby Kiana, little baby maybe that might not be the right word, but like, let's say you have a little Kiana. I have a little niece, right?
right, right.
Would you want your daughter talking to a dude that's broke?
I couldn't say I would.
So I know that sound harsh to hear, right?
It does.
Now, what it is different from meeting early, you see he's on the come up, went to school, got a good career trajectory, and it's just you're just young and you're just at the beginning of your career, but there's promise. Like, you have a plan, you have a roadmap. That's not broke. That's you just on your come up,
Mm.
but you got a plan and a vision. Now, for that person, would you be okay with little Kiana? Would you be like, I'm okay with that?
It's that's a good question. Like for me, man, you got me thinking about stuff I ain't even thought about before. Like how I would even approach my kids dating. Like if they brought home this guy, or if my daughter brought home this guy. Man, like I guess it also depends on where my daughter is. So I think my first thought. Where is my daughter in her journey? I think they just have to match. Their journeys have to make sense. Like you can't be, and not even about like, oh, my daughter's going to get manipulated, but also I just don't think it'll last. Like you said, you have to be compatible in a sense. You can't be, to make the example, you can't be at on an eighth grade reading level dating somebody on a PhD reading level. You get what I'm saying? Like, or on a financial level. Like it's some. I think there's just some gaps that's too hard to play catch up.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think it comes back to communication. Sometimes you didn't grow up seeing it, on the guy side or the female side, but at the same time, that's not an excuse. You got to start working towards, if you want to be together,
Mm,
you got to start working towards not being selfish and not making things about you. And the telltale sign every time I'm coaching is when a person is saying, she won't do this, or he won't do this, or my finances. And like when they're talking on it, like individually,
mm,
that's a quick telltale sign of, like, okay, you're not on the same page because you married and you're talking about you.
mm.
Like, you're talking about, well, I ain't got no debt.
Oh, what?
She got debt. I ain't got no. I'm like, nah, brother.
That's the law.
Y'all got debt.
Yeah,
Or, man, I'm doing all this work. I make this much. She make that much. I said, no, 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 no.
that's tricky.
Y'all make this amount. But the fact, but you got that's a whole mindset in itself. The fact that you immediately go, I make this, you make that. So, like, you can already tell there's some separation there, and sometimes there's some resentment in there. What the scenario we was talking about, it was female disrespecting the guy, but on the other side, that happens too, where there's some expectations and sometimes very unrealistic expectations of, okay, you, your wife is working, you're working, but you want her to be a traditional wife. Like,
Mm, mm.
can she lean in and do some things? Sure, but like, bro, she out there with you working. Like,
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
y'all might need to, and if y'all want to kind of assume some of those traditional roles, but she still might need help. Maybe she may need some help. Like maybe y'all might need to get someone that comes and clean up here and there. Maybe like relieving some pressure somewhere. Like, and for every couple, y'all got to figure out what y'all dynamic is and what works. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the traditional thing. But
Uh,
sometimes there's some expectations that you may have, and it's like, bro, she just worked 50 hours. Like
right.
to have that expectation on it, it's kind of, uh,
Right.
you may have to like work with her to see
Yeah.
what y'all can do. And so like these are the things that maybe people don't think about. Because we're not in the 1950s and we're not in the 60s where like for us, like we seen our grandmother not, like well, our grandfather passed, but like this ain't that day.
Right. It's
Like
not.
most middle class people are working. Like, and most middle class couples are working. And if you have retired your person, you're a very small percentage. Like, it's not a lot of people that live that type of life. And to be honest with you, sometimes your wife don't want to do that. Like, so, and so it's just a matter of talking communication, talking through some of those things. But I just thought that this the mature talk, right? This is, you can get into some of that crazy stuff that's on the internet, but it's like if you're trying to like have a sustainable relationship, like y'all gotta talk, man. Y'all like I know a lot of this stuff is sensationalized or it's like for clicks and run up the numbers and oh it's her fault or oh it's his fault and this and
Yeah.
that and it does get a lot of likes and views. I ain't gonna lie to you. But
Right.
that's just not the direction that we're going on. We're promoting togetherness. We're promoting accountability on both sides. And but what you'll find is people that's marriage minded, they understand that.
Mm.
Now, it's a difference between somebody being married and they were selfish, they're gonna stay selfish, and so they be disrespecting their partners and they probably shouldn't have gotten married. And to your point, it's not gonna last.
Right. It's man, like I like the point that you made about like trying to meet each other halfway, like recognizing, like, say, this is not that day. Like women legally weren't even allowed to work, I think, until it was just a different time. And so now women is definitely working, and so you got to be cognizant of that. Like for example, me and my wife, she does all the cooking, but she doesn't touch a dish. I'll do all the cleaning, but I don't touch no pots and pans. I just, what I'm saying, that's our agreement. And you got to figure out how to help each other out. Because it would, like I said, it would not be fair for either of us to expect each other to go do the work that we do and then go do all of that afterwards, put in a whole nother shift. But I think that just for that segment and just to for the men out there that's listening, that I mean, I could find yourself in a similar situation where it's like, oh, I'm with a woman that's earning, and I'm either on the way or I'm just not there. I guess here's what I'm thinking. Here's my immediate thoughts is just number one, you need to keep running your race. And maybe use her as inspiration to figure out she can figure it out. Maybe she can help me figure it out. Or maybe I can look for inspiration, but you need to make sure you keep running your race. Don't slow down. I'm not gonna say catch up because, like I said, y'all together, so it's not even about like catch up, but it's about hold your weight. I guess I'll put it like that. Make sure that you're doing whatever you can to hold your weight. First, my first thought of that is just financially try to figure out a way to bring more money in because it's just great to have two. There's nothing wrong with doubling. Who wouldn't want double the income? But also figure out a way to, in the meantime, be a better resource outside of just money. Like, I'm not saying either or. Don't do either or. Keep running your race. Please keep running. I'm gonna keep this thing real. Keep running your race. Keep running up that money. But then also, regardless, figure out how. Because if your wife already is bringing it in, you need to figure out ways to either help y'all grow that money. You know what I'm saying? Be a good steward of that money, or just take stresses off of her that because if she bringing in that type of money, she probably got some type of stress that comes along with it. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing is just don't. I guess what I'm really trying to say is, like you said, it could be so easy in a situation to just almost hit the eject button as a man. Like, nah. people gonna look at me funny. I think she looking at me funny, and you'll what's the word when they call it? You'll self prophesize your way out of that relationship. But if you
Mm.
really want to make it work, ignore all that. Keep running your race. Focus 10 times harder on how to make your income grow, and focus on how to just make the relationship work. You know what I'm saying? Figure out how to meet her where she needs. Do you need to do some dishes too? Like, I hope you ain't expecting her to bring in 250K and do the dishes. You done lost your mind.
All right, so my perspective, and we'll close. One, you need to identify a men's group,
I like that.
get some life coaching, get some career coaching of someone that's where you want to be, and they just help you start putting the pieces together. That way you can start getting some traction, and then it's not going to be easy. It's going to take some time, but it's not meant to be easy. Don't assign a difficulty to it. It's going to be new. Don't defeat yourself before you start. And where you are is where you are. But it's not okay to stay where you are, especially if you're saying, "Hey, I do want to make more money." Okay, well, maybe you need to these are the areas that make more money. Okay, which one resonates with you? That one? Okay, cool. Now let's reverse engineer it and bring it back to the present, because if you're working, you're probably making money. You probably can't just automatically say, "All right, stop and going that direction." Sometimes it needs to be a slow transition to where you're going. Are you saddled with debt? Because it's a KB Money Show. And so what happens is when you got debt to your eyeballs and you throw that in the mix of all this, that's when it gets challenging. That's when it gets really challenging, but it's still possible. And so obviously we're gonna bring some hope. You can get there. You just got my point is you gotta have a plan, and your way hadn't been working. So you need to find some resources, find someone that is working it, is real, and get some guidance because your plan not working. And so you need to be self accountable for what your current results are, irregardless to what your wife have going on.
Mhm.
And that way you can even bring more value. Yeah, you can wash the dishes, but let's keep it real. Like maybe and if you say I need to make more money, okay, well let's figure out how to do that. And let's not play games. It's gonna be a journey, but that's what it is. Let's just not play games with it. Um, and let's just make sure we're doing everything that we're designed to do as a man, because guess what? We know what it is. Like we're on a public forum, but you know what it is as a man. Like the majority of y'all out there are men listening, so you know what it is. So
Yeah.
don't play games with it. We not. I know, bro. Say wash them dishes. Nah, go make that money. We're not playing. We're not doing that.
I
Like
said do both. Do both now.
okay, do both, but let's be clear. Go make that money, and you'll feel better about yourself. But also get your fitness together as well, and then get your faith up. That way you can, have something to lean on when times get tough. So while you leaning on God as you working through your plan, and you praying over your family, praying over your wife, hopefully working on her spirit and she ain't disrespecting you like old girl was. And everything is gonna be all right. And what's that song? We gonna be all right. What's that song?
That
Yeah.
Kendrick.
Yeah. Okay, that's Kendra. Okay, I ain't even know. Okay, I'm so out of the loop. But yeah, that's the episode. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the folks that's commenting on the videos. That give us energy.
For
Appreciate
sure.
y'all keep checking it out. But until the next episode, we'll catch y'all later. We love y'all. Peace.
Peace out.